Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate that you can come back. So this has taken a while. Basically from the time I made my last video, let's turn this down just slightly. There we go. From the time I made my last video about this laptop that I picked up. This is the Pavilion dv4. From the last time I made the video about this, when I found it, I've been installing updates, and it was like running really loud and like with the fan going all the time, and pretty much overheating. So I had to do a little work on the fan because it was very full of like almost like felt, just accumulated fibers that had built up in the fan exhaust. So that really helped when I removed all that junk from the fan. I had a nice little handful of lint when I was done, but now it's not like blaring the fan constantly. So that's gonna probably do a lot to save this laptop from overheating to death, because it was running at about like 90 degrees Celsius. But before we get into the specs on this, because you know I tend to make videos about everything under the sun, just because if I do that, chances are nobody will watch these videos, and that's the goal. Yeah, so what do we have here? This is known as a PCIe Gen 3 X4 SSD, and it's 512 gigabytes. Now, there's a little story behind this one. Have you ever bought a laptop bag? Because I have lots of laptops, so I like to pick up these cheap laptop bags at my thrift store. So I picked up this one, and it was $10 or something. It was, maybe it was 15, somewhere in that range, $10 to $15 with taxes. Let's put it that way. It's always like, I think they sell them for $9.99 to $12.99. So with taxes, let's just say $15. So anyway, I bring it home. I needed a laptop bag for one of all these laptops I'm finding. And you know, I keep my laptops in bags because you can stack them and keep the batteries and things like that in with the bag. Sometimes you can get a couple of laptops in each bag. So, you know, you got 100 laptops, 50 bags, quite a bit of bags. Maybe probably more like 70, 80 bags. But anyway, you know, they add up. Laptop bags are handy because they keep things organized, and they're not that expensive. So they're a good addition to my collection. So anyway, I bring on this laptop bag. I think it was a Samsonite or something like that. And I clean it out because, you know, they always have little packets of like these, they're like moisture little bags, things they put in them to keep the moisture out of them. I can't remember. Desiccant? Yeah, desiccant bags. Little bags of like, it's almost like sand or something like that. Anyhow, there's these, you know, you clean it out. There's always a couple of those in there. Or there's, you know, what the heck? You know, all the little tags and whatever stuff that you find, or, you know, the odd pen or pencil or something like that always falls out when you're cleaning them out. Well, lo and behold, this falls out. So this crazy thing was in one of my bags. So somebody had, I guess, bought this. It's either a replacement, either it's been used and they've replaced it with something bigger, or it's new. I have no idea. I don't even know if it works, but yeah, found that today. So that's a little, you know, little distraction from what we're really after. But you know, I just always like to share with you these wonderful little finds. You never know what you're gonna find when you go to the thrift store. So here we go, we're back on track. So a little digression. I was just happy to find it. I don't even know if I have a laptop that'll work with it. I'm going through my laptop collection, looking at my laptops and trying to figure out which ones might work. I think I might have found an Acer that I have that may work. So I'm going to take the back off and see if it has a M.2 SATA connector. It's funny because I have some that do have the M.2 connector, but unfortunately they're wired for SATA, so it depends. It's like I got a lot of laptops on the cusp of the M.2 conversion between the what do they call it? NVMe? Is that what it is? NVMe and the SATA type drives. Anyway, we keep on getting off track. Let's get back on track. So here we go. So we looked at this one. This is from 2008, this laptop, and it's running. Well, let's get into, first of all, taking a look at this guy here. So I got it set up with Windows 7, and it's 64-bit, and it's got Service Pack 2, and it's fully updated. And let's take a look. So we've got this AMD Pavilion thing, dual core. We're going to see how well that performs. We got 4 gigabytes of RAM, which is pretty good for a Windows 7 system. And a experience index is showing us that the graphics, of course, is always the lowest. But otherwise, a lot of the other scores are pretty good out of 7.9. It's middle of the road type laptop, but still, I've seen worse. So that's good. Let's see here. Device manager. Let's take a look at the device manager. Okay, so the device manager, once it comes up, I'll close this out while it's loading up. Wow, that's blazingly fast, isn't it? All right, so I'm not seeing anything showing as a problem. So we got the old dual core here. We have, is there anything we want to point out? We have networking. We have this drive. All right, so I don't know, everything seems to be all set up. So we're giving this thing half a chance for when we benchmark it. All right, so this is the details of the CPU. Dual core. It's got, a fair number of different instruction sets, kind of aligning with the 2008 system that this is. It's got this motherboard, and the BIOS are 2009, so it's not the newest, not the oldest. Memory, we got 4 gigabytes of DDR2 running at 400, and they're evenly distributed, so we're getting, is this running in dual? Doesn't show what channels, so no, it doesn't normally shows you if it's dual channel, so not sure if it's running dual channel. Anyway, there's the first stick from 2009 and the second stick from 2009. So this is probably a 2009 system, judging from that, and the BIOS. So it looks like it's original RAM. Let's take a look. Yep, they both match up, and they're both from February 2009. So I'm going to say this is probably original RAM. So not bad. 2009 system, and of course we're running this Radeon HD 3200 graphics. We'll find out how well that works. On that note, we go over here to see the resolution. It's 1280 by 800, so not bad. And the actual details I look at it is this, because it gives you the actual RAM in terms of what is dedicated, 256, and what's being shared. And so looking at that from a very cursory high-level viewpoint, it's not bad, it's not terrible. I've seen systems newer than this that have 32 megabytes of dedicated RAM. So 256 isn't awful. But we're going to find out how that works out. Carrying right along here, let's get an overview of the system. This is a, like I said, it's an AMD system known for its heat. This isn't bad at all. 65 Celsius is not bad at all compared to what I was getting before. So, and you know, at idling, that's really high, but that's kind of AMD for you. They really didn't, they weren't efficient with their energy consumption and the dissipation of the heat that it generated. But that is AMD of this time period. We got a storage of 250 gigabyte hard drive, Fujitsu, and it's running pretty warm as well as a result of just the overall heat generation of the system. But I can tell you now, it doesn't sound like it's running half as loudly with the cleaned out fans, and we're not updating like crazy. Let's take a quick look at Crystal Disk. And what do we got here? We have 206 days of use, which is incredibly low for what you're dealing with. But of course we have a lot of power on counts, so that would be kind of realistic, but it was powered on, it wasn't kept on for very long for each of those power on counts basically. Nonetheless, you know, so maybe was kept on for a couple hours at a time. But yeah, it's not showing any kind of issues. It's certainly not the fastest hard drive, but we're working with Windows 7, so hard drives are fine. It was designed for hard drives. Windows 10 is when it got crazy and needed SSDs. So on that note, let's get right underway with a test of NovaBench. So here we go. Let's see what we're, oh, it doesn't like something that's open. What is it? What is it it's complaining about? I don't know what that is. Huh. I don't know. Damn no. Let's see what we got open here. That's not really something I can turn off. Let's turn this off. That's it. It's nothing else. I'm not sure what it's complaining about. Let's proceed. Let's proceed. Here we go. I jokingly said to one of the people responding to the commenting on this video, they mentioned that this thing is very shiny, and I gotta agree. I don't think I've seen a more shiny mirrored finish on a whole lot of laptops. Oh, here we go. This is the one I'm interested in. Oh, it's not awesome, but it's better than I've seen in some of these models. 88, 90, yeah. Average out to somewhere in hopefully the 80s. All right. Okay, what are we gonna get here with this blazingly fast Jurassic? Before we do look at that though, I was just gonna finish with my thought on this. So this thing, it's so shiny. Every part of it, it's shiny. So I jokingly said, yeah, it has a warning not to take it out in the sunlight because it could cause blindness. Honestly, there's so much shine. There's a little wear on the keyboard, which, you know, it's a, you know, 2009 system, so you're gonna earn some of this wear, but otherwise it's really good. I clean it up pretty well, I think. Yes, quite nice. And these kind of things work too. They're actually touch sensitive, which is really cool. So yeah. Yeah, so here we go. Better just make sure I didn't do anything to the, oh yeah, it's really high. Sorry guys, I just want to turn that down. Let's see, we'll just see if it works, if it's working. Yep, it's working. Gotta love that. Okay. All right, so let's get down to it here. So the final analysis is 309. So again, I'm looking at the RAM. It's not terrible at 100, and it's utilizing most of it. It's got 167, 22 for a score for the graphics. It's middle of the road. 78 frames is not bad. It's quite doable for a lot of applications and games. And 20 for a score on the hardware, which is again kind of middle of the road to low. So yeah, overall I'd call this a middle of the road, but you know, for a 2009 system, probably good or you know, somewhat better than a lot of the systems that I have refurbished and benchmarked. Certainly running much better than it was when I first got it, and before I cleaned out the fan and grills and a lot of felt, essentially, that had built up rather. So there you go, guys. That's going to be my specs for this guy. This is my, well, let's see here. We want to kind of let's do a thumbnail for this. So close, unsaved, yeah, that's fine. We got the specs we needed, right? All right, guys, so let's just use this, I think, as our thumbnail.